I'm now a Canadian citizen. It took me 99 days from the time I applied to being invited for the oath ceremony. And in today's video, I will take you through the timeline of those 99 days and also the experience of oath ceremony. In my case, it was a in-person oath ceremony in Mississauga. So, I will take you through the journey. So, don't go anywhere. Friends, I came to Canada in 2019 as a permanent resident, and this year in 2022, I was eligible for the Canadian citizenship based on the set criteria. What those criteria are, I have made video on how I checked the eligibility, use of calculator, the physical presence calculator, and then filling up the application itself, which was a very simple way of doing things. Little confusing at few places, but then I was able to put the logic and fill that application without any problem. So, you can go and watch those videos on how the form looks like. I will leave the link in the description for you to go and check. Now, once the application was filled, this happened in May, and I sent to IRCC. By end of May, IRCC received the documents, and first week of June they intimated that they have received the document and now it is in progress. This is in June. By mid of July, they informed me that now I will have to appear for the virtual citizenship test. Nowadays, it is virtual, where you are given the instructions, the link, and you can take this up any time. In my case, they had given me 3 weeks window, and frankly speaking, I invested about 1 week to study, not the entire 1 week, but in that 1 week range, I studied through the guide, Discover Canada guide, which is given by the IRCC. No other document I touched. So, I went through that. In my wife's case, she invested only 2 days of her life to prepare for the citizenship test. Now, the result, my wife got 20 out of 20 right, and in my case, I got 19. So, I personally felt that if you come from India, the test is easier because there is a lot of things which you are able to relate to, which when you go through, you will also get to know what I am talking about. So, once the citizenship test was done, even though the virtual test results are shown to you immediately, the updation happens little later. They are doing background checks on if everything has gone right or not. That is what I could understand. So, once the test was done and I was told that it is updated now, then it was a wait game, because a security check and other things were happening simultaneously. In August, I got an intimation to appear for the virtual oath ceremony. Because of COVID, everything had gone virtual, and 1st of September is the day when I was invited for the virtual oath ceremony. Now, there was a situation. I already had my travel arrangement to India made. I was traveling in first week of October, and had I attended that oath ceremony, I will have to surrender my PR card. Now, with my India passport, I could have gone to India, but coming back to Canada without a PR would have been a task which I do not know how much time it would have taken. And even though many of them said it is 4 weeks time, take the citizenship and then you can travel with Canada passport. The problem is that there is no guarantee by when the passport would come, then applying for India visa, all those things I wanted to avoid. So, I reached out to IRCC and informed them that I have a travel plan. The help desk person, she informed that if you could delay or postpone your India trip and take this as a priority is what is advisable. I told my India plan was done much in advance, and there are a lot of things at stake, and at this point I cannot cancel that. So, I would request for a deferment of the oath ceremony. So, I wrote an email and I also attached all the documents of my India trip. I did not get any response for the email which I had sent. I did not go through the oath ceremony, and after about 2 weeks I got a notification that okay, in your case we will reschedule. Once you are back in Canada, you will have to present the boarding pass and your e-ticket. That was fair enough. We went to India, enjoyed our trip, came back and informed them that now we are back to Canada and we are ready to go through the citizenship oath ceremony anytime. And after that there was no exchange of information for few days until first week of December, when I got an email that within 1 week time I will have to appear for oath ceremony, this time in person in Mississauga. And there was a long list of instructions which was given, which included do's and don'ts. Guests and families are not allowed. If you have a small child, make an arrangement at daycare or with someone else so that in ceremony you can come and go through without any hindrance. Now in ceremony, if we take our toddler along and she say becomes fussy and I have to walk out of the room, then it is considered as good as not going through the process itself, and then it would get rescheduled. In my case, I had no option but to take my toddler along, and on the day we reached the venue, went through the security system, the checks and documents we were carrying. On the document we were given a number, and then later on I got to know that number is associated with the seating arrangement, the chair where I would go and sit. So once I entered the hall, there were 2 officials managing almost 100 plus new Canadians who are going to be, and they were verifying documents, they were giving a welcome kit, and they were directing us to go and sit in the designated numbered seat. Now I was surprised that many of the participants had got their friends and families and they were allowed. So what's written in the instruction versus what's on ground is little different if you ask my experience. We went along with our toddler, and as expected, when the ceremony was starting, she was fussy. The judge who was presiding, he was very kind. He asked me if I could take my child and stand behind, and if she gets all right, she was all right, and I went through the entire ceremony while I was standing behind, and that's how the ceremony was. Now in-person experience is an amazing experience. I was able to meet with other new Canadians. There were 112 new Canadians, almost from 35 countries, and in virtual I don't know if I could have met anyone. And this experience of going through the citizenship process is an amazing experience. If you ask me, if you get chance to go for an in-person oath ceremony, I would say that's the best. Virtual is convenient, but from the people whom I have talked to, they say that they don't get the same feeling what you would get in the physical in-person oath ceremony. So that's been the experience throughout. In case you have any question, please feel free to ask, comment, and I respond to every single question. Thank you.